He was also an opponent on the other teams. As a young player coming up through the minor leagues, he came up with the Angels, and I was with the Giants, so we got to know each other from the other dugouts over the years. So a big part of the '87 World Championship team, and now currently kind of strapped with one of the tougher jobs, and that is the head coach of the Minnesota Twins, Tom Verdansky. You got to understand, my mom really didn't teach me how to throw or run or hit, but she could take me to the ballpark and drop me off and say, "Here's the field, go play." You know. So again, a lot of mothers, fathers out there, it's not a matter of you being the influence. It's going to be up to the kid to go out there and get the opportunity. But I can tell you stories. I was in Mexico playing winter baseball in Mexico, and we were in Tijuana. And some obnoxious fan was hollering over the dugout, "Danny, Danny, Danny." And I go, "Hey, shut the lady up, would you?" And I looked down there, and it was my mother. She drove down from Northern California to Tijuana. All she wanted to do was buy a blanket. And the next gentleman here had a kind of a breakout season last year, and I think that over the years, the Twins have had kind of special players that have come here and stay for a while, and I think that we're getting to see this guy last year really kind of establish himself and as a big league player. And to me, with the All-Star game being in Minnesota this year, if this guy's not on that team, then it's his fault. Brian Dozier. This next gentleman here is, again, I'd like to talk about the Twins. When I came over in '87, some of the new players that came over, one of them was Jeff Reardon. And I think anytime you have a championship caliber club, you have to have somebody at that back end that closes those games out that you can rely on. And the Minnesota Twins have been lucky to have a Jeff Reardon, Rick Aguilera, Eddie Gordado, and then now they've got a good one in Glenn Perkins. And again, if this guy's not on the All-Star team, then it's his own fault. Glenn Perkins. Hey, Perkins can do that. He can turn the lights out on a lot of people. Quickly, this next gentleman here is looking forward to the All-Star game this year. The 3 days, they have what they call the Futures Games, where they bring a lot of the minor league players up from the other organizations. They play a game, and then, of course, the Home Run Derby is on Monday. Then the game is going to be on Tuesday. But in between that, they have a mascot Home Run Derby contest. And this mascot here has won it every year other than when the All-Star game, remember when it was held in Milwaukee? And Torrey Hunter reached over and caught the ball from Bonds on the home run. Do you know who the mascot is for the Milwaukee Brewers? Who? Bernie the Brewer, right? Does anybody know that it's a lady in that mascot? TC the Bear has been beaten the Home Run Derby contest one time by Benny the Brewer. Let's introduce TC the Bear. Like I said, we wanted to give some prizes away, and I think that the best way to do that is, TC, before you sit down, we're going to give away a prize. He's going to find somebody that maybe has the best Twins outfit on here this afternoon. So I believe we have a bobblehead doll. Do we know who it's up, the bobblehead doll?
Minnie and Paul.
Oh, Minnie and Paul, perfect. Wipe your lip, Barry. All right. TC's got to find somebody that... Oh, look at that. All right. Let's ask Perkins a question here, and that is, what have you been doing in the off season here, and your thoughts going into this upcoming season?
You know what? I think my favorite thing about the off season is the off season. I love baseball and it's fun, but it becomes a long year. So you look forward to that at the end of the year when you get to go home, relax, I get to be a dad. So I do a lot of that, bring the kids to school and whatnot. I rehabbed a knee injury. I had knee surgery on October 1st, so I got through that just fine, and then have been working out, rehabbing, and doing all those things here the last couple months. But you know, this winter, I grew up a fan of the Twins, and I'm still a fan of the Twins. So I know how frustrating it is the way we've played for the last 3 years and the struggles we've had. So to see this winter, I think for a long time, Twins fans have wanted us to go out and do something, make something happen in the winter, sign some guys, get some talent in, and we did that. And a lot of it in December. So it was a fun month leading up to Christmas there, and seeing us go out and get some guys that are going to help us win. So it's been awesome to see getting Velasco, getting Hughes, having Pelfrey come back with the second half he had last year. To have some pitching and to help us be able to compete this year. I think we'll see a little bit better team, well, a lot bit better team than we've had the last couple of years. So I think we're all excited for that. And it's been fun sitting back and watching Terry and Rob and those guys upstairs do some work and get us some talent.
Talk, if you would, a little bit. I had mentioned that All-Star Game is at Target Field this year. As a player, would it be nice to be able to play in your home field at an All-Star Game? And are you marking that on the calendar?
I hope to be there. I mean, I really do. I think, you know, like you said, if I don't, it'll be my fault. I think if I go do my job, I got there last year, and it was an incredible experience. We kind of got swallowed up by New York. I mean, that's a big city, but it was a lot of fun. I think it'll be the center of attention. It'll be a big event in Minneapolis, and I really do hope I get to be a part of it. It's just playing for the Twins growing up in Minnesota has been a dream come true, but to be able to represent the team and the state in the All-Star Game at our home park, it'd be hard to describe the feeling that I'd have, but you know, it's something that I'll think about, but I try not to. I want to go out and do my job, and I think you know, hopefully it'll all work out.
Let's talk Dozier here. Doge, off-season for you, kind of busy a little bit. You traveled a little bit, but also got married in the off-season.
Yeah, I just got married a couple of weeks ago. Thank you. For anybody that's about to get married or anything, let me tell you a piece. I've learned in 2 weeks. I've learned more than the girl about her than the previous 5 years. And I did not know that putting your dirty dish in the dishwasher could go so far. So anybody at the top, that's a little tip of advice instead of just in the sink. So, but yeah, I got married a couple of weeks ago, and a couple months before that, went on a mission trip down to Nicaragua, and kind of been just resting up, and took a time off for about a month and a half after the season, and rested the body, but I've been working out since, and kind of been trying to see how many ducks and deer I can kill up until I leave for spring training.
You do any bear hunting? Because if not, there's one to your left there. What do you hope to? What are you going to work on? Is there one thing that you might work on a little bit more going into spring training this year? That maybe a certain part of the game you'd like to improve on, if you can.
Well, there's always room for improvement. Number one, and I believe that there's a lot of areas in my game personally that I can improve in. But I think last year I didn't steal enough bags. I want to get back to being a base stealer, a threat on the base paths, and went through a little injury, played through a little bit with my knee and stuff, kind of got shut down on the base pass, but kind of want to get back to doing that, especially at the top of the order with the offense that we have behind me. You know, that's only brings good to the team, you know, stealing bags, and you can attest to that too.
Will you go into camp this year knowing that, not knowing, but feeling a little more comfortable because you've got a job at second base, whereas maybe the years past you've had to go there and kind of win a job?
Yeah, it is. I believe it is a little different, but I believe also that at the same time, there's always somebody behind you trying to take your job. And so I believe for myself, just keep working hard and doing the things kind of where I left off at the end of the year. And like I said, it's, you know, coming into spring training, trying to work on a few more things to improve yourself as a player can only help the teams.
Well, these guys I know in the off season are busy working at their trade here to get into shape, but I tell you, this next guy here, Tom Bernansky, being the hitting coach here your second year, reflect, if you would, a little bit on last year and then kind of segue into what's going to happen this year.
Well, last year you kind of go in with your eyes open. You know, you just hadn't been in the big leagues in a little while, but working through the minor league system. and you just kind of watch and see how the veterans go about doing it, see how the young players take care of their craft, and then you kind of design your own way you're going to handle things. A lot more information than when we played. Video, you've got all sorts of data, and you've got your computers and iPads, and there's no reason for you not to have information about the staff that you're going to face. And then you try to compute that with your work in the cages. And when we played, we had a little batting practice, and we go get them. Nowadays, most of these hitters' days start at 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the afternoon. And we're there with sessions, 15, 20-minute sessions, and then someone else will come in. So there's a lot more in-depth work that goes on. Before the game, Kent Herbeck would sit back down in the runway and have a heater and get ready to play. Nowadays, these guys are in the cages getting ready to swing, and I have 5 or 6 guys come down at 7 o'clock that start to swing the bat. And this is before we even go out onto the field. And then we have 4 or 5 at-bats during the game of each one. That, you break down their swings, you go in and you watch each at-bat, and then the next day you start over again. So there's a lot more in-depth work that goes on, especially with younger hitters, because you have to be their mind and their eyes. I know that it's a struggle. Even as a veteran player, you're going to struggle sometimes, but younger players go through different struggles, and there's lack of confidence. So we have to watch that, talk to them about getting them over the hump. And now segue into this year is that last year a lot of these young players have experienced, whether we're up there for a month or 2 months or 3 months, they have some time up there that we have something to build on, as opposed to not knowing what's expected of them when they get to the big league level. Now they have an idea. Now it's time to push the go button.